Hi, this is Nanette Hosenfeld with the Great Basin Fire Potential Briefing for Monday, May 11th, 2020. Looking at fire potential impacts over the next few days, we are looking at some pretty gusty winds through about Wednesday. Today, we will see pretty strong winds across much of Nevada and southern Utah. Those winds are expected to reach 30 to 45 miles an hour, with some places in far western Nevada seeing the potential for even higher wind gusts than that. As we move into Tuesday, a cold front will begin to make its way through the Great Basin. So behind that cold front, across portions of central and northern Nevada, we will see gusty winds with cooler temperatures. And further south across the Great Basin, we will continue to see those strong and gusty winds. As we move into Wednesday, we'll see some lingering wind gusts across the orange highlighted areas on Wednesday. But those wind speeds are expected to be about 10 to 15 miles an hour lighter on Wednesday than what we will see today and tomorrow. Over the past 24 hours, as you can see from the image on the left, there's been no precipitation across the Great Basin. However, we have seen a fair amount of lightning across the area. Fire activity has picked up a bit. We have a large fire on the Arizona Strip that was reported yesterday. It's been very dry across the Great Basin, especially over the past 7 days. The image on the left shows how precipitation compares to normal over the past week, and you can see almost the entire Great Basin is far below normal when it comes to observed precipitation. So very dry across the Great Basin over the past 7 days. Looking at a 30-day period, still really quite dry across the Great Basin, so we have been in a very dry period. Looking at our ERC charts, not a lot of observations on here quite yet. You can see our ERC percentiles are generally in the 50th to 70th percentile. Looking at those ERC charts, we're right around normal in most areas. You can see the green line for 2020 tracking pretty close to the gray line, which is the normal. If we look at fuel moisture, again, pretty close to normal across much of the area. This is for our live fuel moisture, the sagebrush moisture. So the sagebrush tracking pretty close to normal across much of the Great Basin. Really, the significant thing right now is the fine fuels. The large fire that we had reported across the Arizona Strip is reported to be burning in grass. And so it's really our fine fuels that have responded to the abnormally dry conditions that we've seen across the area over the past few weeks. And it's those fine fuels that we are most concerned about. Satellite this morning shows a low pressure system far off the California coast. That will influence our weather over the next few days. That will be responsible for sending the cold front through the area, which will bring us the gusty winds through Wednesday. So looking at today, again, you can see that low pressure system off the west coast. That, again, will be impacting our weather for the next few days. There's some drier air in place across the southern part of the Great Basin. And looking at our significant fire potential, where things have been the driest and warmest, we do have those fuels in the yellow condition. Looking at Monday in more detail, you can really see how we're expecting those gusty winds. That's the map on the right. Again, wind gusts generally 30 to 40 miles an hour, but some areas could see higher wind gusts. And looking at relative humidity, quite dry across the south. Moving into Tuesday, we start to see that cold front make its way through the Great Basin. Increased moisture further north, but really gusty winds across the southern part of the area on Tuesday. Looking in more detail at those winds, you can see from the image on the right, really looking at some strong winds across the southern part of the Great Basin tomorrow afternoon. And that is significant for the fire that we have down there in the grass. Moving into Wednesday, pretty zonal flow, westerly flow across the area. Moisture in place across the north, a little cooler with that cold front that will have moved through by Wednesday. So on Wednesday, generally lighter winds, but still could see some gusts across the eastern and southeastern part of the Great Basin on Wednesday. And we are looking at increased relative humidities across the northern and central part of the Great Basin on Wednesday. Over the next 3 days, nothing too significant in the way of precipitation. On Thursday, we see another system brush by to the north of the area. This will keep winds elevated across much of the Great Basin on Thursday. And pretty similar pattern moving into Friday with weather systems moving by to the north. We're in just kind of an active progressive pattern, which means that we'll get weather systems moving across the north and central part of the Great Basin every few days, and that will kick up winds periodically, especially across the central and southern part of the Great Basin. Moving into Saturday, we see a deepening low pressure system off the west coast of the United States. And then moving into Sunday, that low system begins to move closer to the area. And if this plays out, it's always hard to say 6 days in advance, but we could look at another round of significant winds across the area, and as well as some precipitation across the north. So in the 7-day period, continues to be quite dry across the south. We do get some shots of precipitation across the northern part of the Great Basin as those weather systems move by across the north. In the 8 to 14-day period, the Climate Prediction Center is calling for below normal temperatures across the entire Great Basin, with above normal precipitation for the entire area. That is it. If you have any questions, please feel free to contact us. Our information is on the screen, and you can also find us on Twitter. Thank you.